You want to grow the value of your business in terms of actual revenue and also how it's perceived. You have to be visible. So be out there, show up and then be viable. Showcase how your solutions provide the answer to people's problems. And if you multiply that visibility with that viability, like ultimately, that's going to create a lot of value for you.
Hi, I'm Adrian M. White, and with over a decade of entrepreneurship experience in launching 4 successful businesses, I know what it takes to grow your business online and live a more purpose-filled life doing the work that you most enjoy. Branding Convert is your go-to resource for branding, marketing, and entrepreneurship advice for service-based business owners looking to scale their business to 6 figures a year. This is the Branding Convert with Adrian M. White podcast. Hello, and welcome to Branding Convert with Adrian M. White podcast. I'm so excited. We have another entrepreneur spotlight today. Today, I am introducing and bringing to the stage Reggie Holmes. Reggie is the founder and creative director of Enthused Creative, a strategic branding and design studio based in the DC metro area. Since 2013, Reggie has worked alongside dozens of businesses and organizations to help them develop and implement effective branding and design solutions. He also provides professional and personal branding training, workshops, and coaching to leaders and teams. Reggie's goal in all his endeavors is to help good people with big ideas to create big impact. Welcome to the stage, Reggie.
Hi, Adrian. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you too. So me and Reggie, we actually met like years ago. I'm trying to remember what event we even met at. Was it
Yeah,
at
I don't even know. It was probably about 10 years ago, somewhere here in the DC metro area, but I don't even remember honestly, but
I
it's been a while.
it really has. It really has.
Yeah.
I think it was actually at the seafood restaurant in downtown Silver Spring. There was like some mixer, like
Okay.
entrepreneur networking mixer or something. And I think we started talking because we were in similar fields.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That is bringing back some memories. So yeah, we'll
Good.
go with that. We'll go with that.
Awesome. Well, Reggie, okay, so it's been 10 years, but let people know all about you since they are newly learning about you. So tell us about how did you even get started with, becoming an entrepreneur? Because I remember when I met you 10 years
Yeah.
ago, you were already like in it. I was trying to get on your level. You were already
Sure.
in the swing of
Sure.
things.
Thanks again for having me, and we love this platform that you've created, and just being able to share entrepreneurship and the journey with people. So really appreciate that. A few years back, before we met, I had experienced a layoff. I was working as a graphic designer. That's what I went to school for. That's sort of what I always thought I would be doing. So I had experienced this layoff, and that was my first time sort of going through that. And I know for me, it felt like someone, just took away opportunity from me. At the time, it was sort of where the economy was, like it was difficult to get a job to replace the job that I had. So, I did substitute teaching, I did freelance. I was just trying to make it work. What that showed me was that, I'm a creative person, right? I think I'm resourceful, but I had never explored entrepreneurship or as I called it at the time, just creating my own opportunities. I was content to just sort of work for someone else, a paycheck, and just kind of live that type of life, which is totally fine if you want to do that. But I knew that I wanted to be in a position where I could create more value for myself and for other people. And so that's when I sort of got the idea of like, hey, what would it look like to create a business or just at the time, just sort of a freelance practice that was more than just, hey, I'll do some logos or business cards for friends and family type of thing, but like create an actual legal entity that could go out and get clients and keep clients and create revenue. So that's sort of where it started for me. It was just a desire to have something that I own that I could, leverage and grow and just kind of see where it went from there. But really to be able to own opportunities, work for the type of people that I wanted to work for, doing projects that were personally interesting and challenging and, just kind of create value in the marketplace. So that's sort of where it started.
That was awesome, Reggie. So you experienced the layoff. You are, building your own business from there. Was it rocky or smooth sailing initially when you were, first getting into it?
I would say that a little bit of both. I think I don't have a business background or anything like that. I knew graphic design. I felt like I was fairly good with sort of client management, just interpersonal skills, that kind of thing. But above and beyond that, I really had to learn a lot. And so I would say a year before I even got started, took a lot of courses and went to just different networking events and business development type events because I realized that like there was a gap in terms of what I knew even about owning a business, running a business, and that type of thing. A couple months after I sort of started doing this full time, I had an injury, so I tore my Achilles, and so I was like laid up for a couple months, had surgery and rehab and all
Yikes.
that.
How'd that
Yeah,
happen?
so well, basketball. It happened playing basketball. I'm not a great basketball player. All the surgeries that I've had are a result of playing basketball. So, needless to
Oh,
say,
no.
that's not really my sport. I love it, but after that, I was like, all right, no basketball for me. But what that allowed me to do was like sort of sit down, because I sort of attacked it like, hey, I'm going after clients and projects and I really had to kind of sit back and take a little bit more time to figure out some things while I was going through that. But that was, just a couple months after I got started. So that sort of knocked me back for a few months, but look at it as an opportunity to, it was an opportunity to learn and kind of learn more of like the digital side of business. I couldn't be out at the events and like going around from place to place like I would have wanted to. So that happened, and then yeah, I mean from there it's definitely been a lot of learning and some growing pains and things like that. But I've been blessed and had lots of great people that I've connected with and have helped me get on a good path. So
So
yeah.
when you were first basically in your first year of entrepreneurship, what
Mhm.
tactics were you doing to get new clients?
So I was going to a lot of events. Once I was well enough to go to events, I was, heavy into networking and just going to different events here in this area. The great thing about the area is that there's something every night of the week, basically. If you want to be at, a business event, at a networking event every night, you could do that. So I definitely took advantage of those. At the time, I was on some websites where people post opportunities and pitch projects, and so I was spending a lot of time on there. For me, networking wasn't so much about, oh, okay, I'm going to get clients from the networking event. That would happen occasionally. My goal was really to make a lot of quality connections.
Mhm.
And because those would be the people that as they became familiar with, they'd be able to refer me opportunities, and so that was effective. I think I didn't always exercise the best judgment in terms of which events I went to. I wasn't very discerning at the time. I was like, I just got to get out there all over the place. In retrospect, the entrepreneur's time is valuable, and so you have to be selective about where you're spending that time. And so if I could do it over again, I would definitely more carefully sort of focus where I was spending a lot of that time. But that's what I
Mhm.
did in the beginning, and really my goal at that point was I guess width, instead of depth. Like I was trying to just spread out all over the place, but I probably would take a little bit different approach if I was doing it today. So
Okay. Like,
yeah.
so in regards to some of those events you went to, what were the type of events that now you're thinking back like, I don't know if they were that helpful? And then what were some of the events that you thought were very beneficial?
There are some events that were just about getting a whole lot of people in the room. So there was no real thought to who's in the room and how we could create, synergy or opportunity between the people in the room. It's just like, hey, a bunch of people that paid the fee and they're all in the space. There might be some food and drink, but there's no real effort to make quality connections happen. So I think just because the event has a lot of people on the list, you really have to look and see, okay, are these the types of people that are either going to be potential clients for me or referral partners, people that I'm looking to bring other people to. So yeah, I just think my strategy was off, and there were events that were through. So I think some of the best events that I attended were it had an educational component to it, whether it was people wanting to learn more about marketing or sales or business development. The audience that I'm trying to reach are other small to medium sized business owners. So if they're at these events, they're looking for help in those areas as well. And also it shows a willingness to education on topics that they don't understand, that they're trying to, develop the business through education. In the work that I do on the brand strategy side, it's, there's execution, right? But there's also a lot of education and sort of empowering the business owner with like, here's what you need to know to really own your brand, take your brand to the next level. And so the ideal sort of person for me is they're wanting to be kind of educated in the process. Like while I'm providing services, they also want to be empowered through the education. So
Hmm.
sitting next to somebody that's paid to be at an event where they're there to learn and also network. So those are the types of people that I like to meet, and those were often the events that were the most beneficial because I did, I got something out of it in terms of education for me as a new business owner, but also meeting other business owners that were willing to say, hey, here's something that I don't know that well, and I'm willing to seek out, experts in chambers of commerce or professional networks where I can get training, I can get,
Hmm.
education on that and get better in my business. So, yeah, I think that's those are the types of events that were the most valuable.
I know that, we're both God fearing entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
and I'm curious to know how has your relationship with God impacted your entrepreneurship journey or supported your entrepreneurship
Sure.
journey?
So, great question. I think I'm always trying to take stock of how that's going and the relationship between the two. I think when I was laid off and sort of trying to figure things out, obviously a lot of prayers, a lot of reading scripture, just seeking input from people that I respected and looked up to, and one of the convictions that I walked away with is that God created me to be a creative person. Ever since I was young and 5, 6 years old, I used to create logo designs for sports teams, right? And most of the time, as a sports team, they weren't real sports teams; they were just sort of made up. And I would create the logos and the uniforms and the designs for these fictional teams. That was just something that I did when I was a kid, right? And so
Mhm.
thought back to those times like, wow, God put this creativity in me from a young age. And I don't know the exact twists and turns that will take, but I know that is an integral part of, my story, my journey, and the value that I'm supposed to create in the world is using creativity. So as I was figuring out, okay, what does that look like? I wanted to make sure that was sort of at the center. And for me, that's a matter of honoring God, through that gift. The business sort of took shape around that idea, but that was sort of at the core. It's like, okay, how do I honor God through my career, through the value, the imprint that I make upon the world through creativity. And so that's how, I got around to, okay, I want to use this design. I want to use, also my ability to sort of think and sit and listen to people and hear their challenges and then come up with solutions. Branding, strategy, design, it all kind of aligned around that. Like I could sit and listen to a business owner, figure out their branding challenges, work through a solution, and then present them something using, creative gifts and hopefully meet their need, help them clarify things, and then so they can go and create value in the world. So for me, it all kind of aligned along that idea of creativity, wanting to honor God and use the talents that He had given me, and create something that would be able to bless other people. Like when starting a business is not a small thing, right? It's a big deal. Whether you have a
Mhm.
big business or a small business, and like it's important to people, and so being able to bless them with the thing that is theirs that they created, to sort of honor their gift using my gifts like that. I feel like that's pretty important. That's really cool to be a part of that process. So that's kind of how everything aligned for me, and how I try to keep it at the forefront of what I do, as far as my business.
I love that. And I love that
Yeah.
just incorporated the fact that you were blessed with the gift, of
Yeah.
design from God and of, strategy and consulting and everything. That's
Yeah.
really great. So tell us about, what you're up to now with your business.
A few years since I got started, so still at it. I'm trying to continue to refine, my offerings, refine the value that I'm able to create for people. I work primarily for like service-based businesses and then also nonprofits, and I've sort of shifted that focus to the whole idea of, big ideas and big impacts. For me, that looks like working with business entity, but also, at times with the entrepreneur. Personal branding has sort of taken off in our world that we live in today. And so, a lot of the work that I was doing was working with the entrepreneur themselves to sort of help them figure out what's the role of their personal brand, how do they leverage their own expertise and background to, help grow their business. And so, what I like to say is I'm in the people business more than the pixel business. And so, as I've been doing this for a while, I realized like there's a lot of designers out there and, really talented people. And it's not, I don't necessarily have to be the one executing all the designs. I want to have my hand on the strategy. I want to have my hand on the business owner and be able to, talk with them and guide them through that process. And so that's where I'm able to create the most value. So I've sort of shifted my focus a little bit from just being a designer to
Mhm.
being a strategist designer and really coming alongside business owners, whether they're in the early stage of the journey or sort of at the point of needing that, second brand where they sort of outgrown the first one and really being that strategic partner who can walk them through the things they need to either create the brand for the first time or help the brand to mature and evolve for, their continued growth. Yeah.
Do you have any strategies for other design firms or firms, similar to what you do on how they can get more leads and get more clients?
Leveraging the power of testimonials and referrals and recommendations and really building that into your process is a great way to create more leads, more opportunities. One thing that I'm working on is creating some resources around how best to refer my company or, to refer business to us. I think what ends up happening is, a lot of times they know you are in the marketing space. They know you do, creative things and they are quick to refer opportunities, but they're not necessarily a great fit for you. And so you have to kind of say, I appreciate that, but this is not a great fit for my business. And then you have to kind of have other people that you can refer that out to. So I think trying to redirect people when that happens and just ensure that that happens a little bit less, and so that the leads that are brought my way are more of the quality leads that I'm looking for. So creating systems to qualify those leads, and then equipping the people that are your partners with the information to really refer you the right types of leads. And then on top of that, I think just being active and consistent on social media, creating value.
I'm sure you're enjoying this episode, but I wanted to quickly pop in to let you know about how you can grow your service based business to six figures a year today by learning how to better market it online. Join my exclusive membership community, Marketing Maintenance, for as little as $49 a month and learn how to develop and implement effective online marketing strategies that bring in more leads while also keeping your WordPress website protected and up to date. This program includes website updates, site maintenance, monthly marketing trainings, one on one marketing strategy meetings, and marketing deliverable creation. Join today at marketingandmaintenance.com.
On top of that, I think just being active and consistent on social media, creating value, commenting and engaging with other content. I think one of the things that people overlook is So there's a heavy emphasis on content creation, right? I've got to create my videos, create my podcast, you know,
Right.
and that can be challenging. But you can also create value by engaging with the great content that other people are putting out. And so having a workflow that allows you to create your own, but also engage with others' content that's out there that you find valuable, reposting, commenting, those types of things. That all that creates visibility for you, and it's different than, well, I've got to sit there and sort of come up with ideas, right? And so curating as opposed to creating, like,
Hmm.
let's you find great resources and then gather them and share them with people who are looking for those types of things. So I think that's one strategy that definitely helps with visibility, helps people sort of connect with, okay, this person is a leader in this space. I need to keep them in mind, when I have that need or I know someone that has that need. So those are
Hmm.
some things that I think have helped me and that, I would recommend to other business owners.
Hmm. Thank you. Great advice.
Hmm.
So, I know I've seen you a lot on LinkedIn. It seems like you
Hmm.
have a pretty strong presence and visibility on LinkedIn. What are some things you like about, marketing on LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook, Instagram, some of those other social media channels?
Yeah, yeah. So it's primarily a business hangout, if you will. It's where businesses are gathering. It's like professional, social media setting. So most of the conversations there are business focused. A lot of the um, well-known thought leaders are positioned there. So if you want to kind of connect with those people, sit and sort of learn from those people, I think the best way to do that is following some of their content there. That's not
Mhm,
to say that it can't be in other places, but that's really what it is designed for. And that platform in particular, it makes it a little bit easier to share documents. So if you want to share a slide deck or share a PDF that you put together, it's a great place to do that. And you can have your professional page that people can follow as well. They don't always get great engagement, but it is there. And if people search Enthuse Creative, they're going to find a website, they're going to find different social media things, but they're also going to see pretty prominently that the LinkedIn page. And so it's another place to sort of
mhm,
feature business specific information. And so most B2B leads come through LinkedIn. So, me working with other businesses, that's certainly a place where I want to be. If you are doing, business to consumer, and some of the other platforms, will likely be maybe a better spot for you to find those individual customers. But looking for businesses that need professional services, LinkedIn is definitely the place where, I'm able to make those quality connections.
You are 10 years plus entrepreneur at this point. Were there ever any like really big challenges or obstacles you faced in, the growth of your business or just sustaining your business over the years?
Yeah, so I think there's like life changes. Got married, have a baby, so just kind of adjusting to changes in life, changes in location. I've moved a few times. Uh, the sort of marketplace landscape has changed. With the advent of like social media and different tools that are have changed, sort of how we deliver creative services. I think, but at the end of the day, understanding like my value and again that creativity and the fact that there's always a need for that. There's always a need for clear strategic thinking that helps people get from point A to point B. And so figuring out how to convey that, figuring out how to communicate that and get that message to the hands of the right people. That's something we're always figuring out how to do better. But um, I would say that a lot of those things they're outside of me, right? They are things that I can't really control or affect. I've just got to focus on creating value, really making genuine connections with people,
Mhm.
um, and trying to help them through the tools that I have. And so I think focusing on that has allowed me to kind of sustain through different periods. There's obviously like times when the leaves are just flooding through the door. There are times when it's a little bit dry. I
Mhm.
think figuring out how to also evolve your services and add new things like the personal branding stuff that sort of came out of a lot of the conversations I was having with people, requests I might get for some help with that. Like, hey, help me tighten up my LinkedIn or, my bio and things like that. So it's like, wow, okay, there's a need there. And, we're in a space where there's more influencers and just sort of individual, brand ambassadors and people that are leveraging their own presence as a person to, create business opportunities. And so
Mhm.
that's just something that sort of came. And then also, I work with a content development team. So people need content, right? It may just start with headshots, but they also want to do some reels or some videos, and so that evolved out of like, okay, well, I don't do those things personally, but I have a great relationship with a photographer and a videographer, and we like
Mhm.
each other, we like working together. So, we create a little joint venture, and now we have this thing that runs alongside of all of our businesses as a way to team up and create more value. So relationships have definitely been important to just kind of help you with the mental health sanity part of running a business, right? Because it gets
Yeah.
challenging, and then also like helping you round out your services or just add more value. So those are some of the things that have helped me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
actually just thinking about your, like, kind of the partnership. So
Mm.
you guys, how does that work? You guys have your own business entity together?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's pretty much like just kind of a team. Like a team. We don't really have like a agreement. And, we do, but like we don't. It's more so like, hey, we like each other. We've
Mhm.
worked together on projects and we have a good sense of what each of us does well, and we sort of strategize, okay, here's how we would engage a potential client. It's not something that we could do as just one of us, but together, we could share the load. We've built this workflow, and then we kind of bring, as we talk to people and it comes up in conversation, we bring people through our funnel process through for the team. And so just kind of evolved organically. My mind is always on well, how do we create more value, and how do I use what's around me, whether that's systems and platforms or people, relationships, and so this was something that just kind of evolved. Like, all right, it makes sense, and
Mhm.
it's a way for us to sort of go after market opportunities that individually we're not like ideally positioned for,
Mhm.
but collectively we're a great fit for. So yeah, and we can leverage the team to do more than any one of us could do individually.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Are all of the, like, services that you guys offer, do you guys like, do you have, like, a package or something that you offer that, like, has all of you guys in play using it? Or do
Yeah,
you still kinda separate the services, somewhat?
our engagements all involve each of us at some point. And
Mhm.
so they may be more photography heavy. So we lean on the photographer. They may be more like branding and storytelling heavy. They may be more video and social media content heavy. So, but ideally, we each have a part. It may not be that, even one third, but we're all involved in the process, and then each of us has different strengths, whether it's client management, like onboarding and project management, or like
Mhm.
file management and delivery. Like we all kind of have our area of expertise, and we work together. And one thing that I didn't mention, like challenge, okay, the pandemic, right? That's just sort of that's the huge thing that's out there, and we're still kind of figuring our way through that. But
Hmm.
I feel like that puts a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners like you and I in a position where we had to kind of team up on different opportunities. And so this that the content development team, Elevate Your Brand, is sort of an outgrowth of that. Because when the pandemic started, I was starting to bring creatives together in these Zoom sessions just because I felt like we could all just sort of go, to the wind and sort of be in our own little space.
Hmm.
But that's hard to do, and at this time, like we really need to sort of look around and see who's out there and see how we can work together because people still need to market. They still need to, have a brand presence. Like that's not the time you want to disappear. So it sort of started there, and then as I was looking around at like, well, who's in my network that I can connect to, it just sort of evolved kind of naturally from there. Like, all right, well, we like each other, we work well together, we have worked well together on some other projects. Like, let's figure out how we can team up and kind of create something that who knows, maybe one day it becomes its own thing. Is a way for us to stay connected and ultimately be able to create more value than any of us could of ourselves.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we unfortunately have to wrap up, but Reggie, do you have any final words of marketing advice to, service-based business owners out there that are, trying to grow their business?
I have a little expression. It's like an equation, and it says visible times viable equals valuable. So you want to grow the value of your business in terms of actual revenue and also how it's perceived. You have to be visible. So be out there. Show up and then be viable. Showcase how your solutions provide the answer to people's problems. And if you multiply that visibility with that viability, like ultimately, that's going to create a lot of value for you. So that's my words of advice for all the business owners out there.
Thank you. Reggie,
Yeah.
how can people follow you and get in touch with you?
Our website is enthusecreative.com, and we're on all the social media platforms at Enthuse Creative.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming today and
Yeah. Thank
coming
you
to
for
the
having me.
podcast. No problem at
Yeah. This
all.
is great.
Yeah. Best wishes on your future endeavors, and obviously we'll be in touch.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. You made it to the end. We have more amazing episodes coming up, just like this one, on the Brand and Convert with Adrian and White podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Brand with AMW and learn more about working with me at brandwithamw.com. People always ask me how I scaled my business to 6 figures per year and now work full time in my purpose. After a decade of being an entrepreneur and launching 4 successful businesses, I know what it takes to get your service based business to 6 figures per year quickly. Start booking higher paying clients, automating your processes, and clarifying your messaging in my free training. 5 strategies my clients are using to develop brands, websites, and processes that grow 6-figure businesses. Secure your seat today at training.brandwithamw.com. See you there.